Everything that I just said, I didn't have the microphone on for the camera for. This will make sense in a minute. Please stand by.
Want to hear more? Replays uploaded daily on WMUNmuncie.com. Now back to Delaware County Today with Steve Lindell, presented by Muncie Community Schools.
Going fast. Live guest one of two. In just a moment, Lieutenant Governor joins me. Steve Lindell in Studio B. Let's go to the weather quickly first. That is WMUN's Paul Poteet.
Good morning. We're on the backside of a cold front that went through in the evening and overnight. Put down a little bit of rain. Looks like most of the totals in our area were 1/10 of an inch or less. We'll have sun this morning, clouds this afternoon, high of 62. The official high temperature yesterday was 76. Today and tomorrow will be cool, and then we go above average for quite some time. A low tonight of 41, high tomorrow 67, sunshine Thursday. And then on Friday, looks like our best chance of seeing any showers is going to be south of I-70. We might have a spotty shower around here in the morning and early afternoon. 70 degrees Friday. If you're going to the track, should be fine for Fast Friday, but they may have some temporary delays in the morning. Partly cloudy Friday night, and now it's changed for the weekend. The bigger storm chances Saturday, not Sunday. Saturday, scattered stuff, muggy, high of 81. Sunday, partly sunny, just an isolated shower or storm, 84. 86 Monday, then a front brings scattered showers and storms Monday afternoon through Tuesday. And now, here's Stevie.
All right, been a while since we heard that one. Thank you, Paul Poteet. Now to the Zoom room, and he is mobile and moving, like he oftentimes is, the Lieutenant Governor of the great state of Indiana, Mr. Micah Beckwith. Hello, and good day to you, sir.
Hey, thanks, Steve. How are you doing?
Doing just fine. Thank you very much. I see you're moving already. Where are you headed today, if you can tell me where you're going to be doing your Lieutenant Governor work?
Yeah, thanks. We're going to be up in Lafayette this morning. I got a faith leaders roundtable talking about how we can bridge the gap between problems of a community and getting the faith leaders, to address those issues. I'd much rather local faith leaders and communities, deal with things like homelessness and food insecurities than having to have the government come in and try to do it when government doesn't do it very well in the first place. So we're just trying to be a bridge, and that's part of the faith executive initiative that Governor Braun signed a few months ago. And then yesterday we were down in southern Indiana and put about 400 miles on the car yesterday, going to different towns, working with local officials through Okra. I had my Okra team down, meeting with council members and mayors down in Dearborn County and Scott County, and talking to, how can we build better infrastructure for these small towns. So it's great, man. Every day is different, and it's always good to get out and talk to Hoosiers.
Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith is our guest on WMUN. I'm Steve Lindell. We've heard in the last week or two, unfortunately, threats against you, and those seem to be becoming a little more widely known as far as public officials, and you've had direct comments about this. You've taken some precautions, and rightfully so. Does this ever make you question, Mr. Lieutenant Governor, about being in public service and in government? No,
not at all. I mean, we knew this was gonna be part of the job. And I try to live my life an eternal perspective. All throughout history, who have been speakers of truth, God's truth, have been persecuted, attacked. Darkness hates the light, the lies hate the truth. And so I just, you just kind of know it's coming, but ultimately, if God is for you, who can be against you? And that's why, my family and I feel confident that he's led us in this path, and I'm only here because he's put me here. So he'll protect us and guide us too. And I tell people, listen, if you're walking with Jesus, you're death proof until God says otherwise. And so, it's every day you can get up and have a lot of joy and hope and go out and do what he's called you to do.
Those are braver words than I could say. Are people more angry and dangerous than they've ever been, or has it always been this way to varying degrees?
Well, I mean, let's keep in mind, we had Alexander Hamilton was killed in a duel by Aaron Burr. Abraham Lincoln, half the country hated him at the time. We've gone through a civil war. We've had civil rights movements. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated. JFK. We've had political violence in our history, every generation. This is not new to American life. I do think seems more it seems more apparent now because of social media. So I think that's probably what people recognize. I think it's always been there, and that hatred for people who disagree, or who that hatred that you see in our culture when people disagree with one another has always been around. But now it's being blasted by anyone with a phone, and so I think that's probably why you're feeling it. I feel it. I think we all feel it. It's like, man, is it what it's ever been? And it's probably not what it's ever been. It's bad, but we've always had this type of bad stuff in our country, and we will always have it. And this is just part of being a free people. When there's this fight between freedom and tyranny, you're always going to have this conflict. But I think that means we need bold, courageous people, even now more today than ever, to speak up and to declare what is true and right and good and virtuous. And so that's my charge to all of us is we all have a voice, and we all have to use it.
WMUN, this is Delaware County Today, talking to the Lieutenant Governor of Indiana, Micah Beckwith. One of the notions that's being talked about and bandied about, again, I say again, medical marijuana. With the changes at the federal level, there could be a different road, I suppose, for Indiana and some other states that haven't chosen that. What's your take on that potential legislation that is likely to come up again in the next session?
Well, I'm a pretty big opponent of medical marijuana, or I'm sorry, just marijuana, recreational marijuana. Medical marijuana, that's a different story. But recreational marijuana, I think, is what we really have to guard against, because I've seen what's happened in states like California, Colorado, Michigan, states that have legalized it. It hasn't gone well. The tax revenue that they said they were going to get from it hasn't actually produced a net gain. It's really, for every dollar they bring in the tax, they have to spend $4 to clean up the mess. So my brother's a state trooper in Michigan. He has seen he's seen the effects of what that's done to Michigan. He does not like it. He anecdotally, he's like, it's made our job as state troopers a lot harder. And so I want to make sure we don't get to that point. Again, medical marijuana, I think, if you're a doctor and it's a natural substance on earth, God obviously put it on earth for a reason. I think if we use it with wisdom, I think that's important to go down that path and do it in a wise way. But my concern would be, once you let the genie out of the bottle just a little bit, is medical marijuana going to lead to recreational marijuana? And we have to be very careful not to let that happen. And I don't think it would be a net gain for our state. I think it would make things worse than things are right now. So that's where I stand on it.
Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith, I didn't know your brother was a state trooper in Michigan. Thank him for his service. Does he take any credit for the ice cream or get any residuals on that whole family lineage? I forget how that whole thing worked out.
Well, yeah, no, he does. He's technically my brother-in-law,
okay.
So he's
right.
my sister.
Okay.
Sister would like to take credit for it, but we always tell her that she can't do that. That's dad's thing. So she's a lone girl in the family. And so I have 3 brothers, 1 sister, and then my brother-in-law. And so, yeah, but it's fun. We razz them, and they still live in Michigan. Everyone else is down in Indiana. And so we always tell them to come down to the land of freedom whenever they get tired of Michigan tyranny. So
if anybody doesn't know what we're talking about from previous interviews, just Google and go Moose Tracks, and you'll find the whole story there, I think. The Miami Correctional Facility, more serious subject. Capitol Chronicle reporting this week that the feds haven't paid Indiana in like 5 months for housing immigrant detainees. Is that accurate? And if so, what do you think is happening there?
I saw that story too. I have not had a chance to talk to the governor about that one yet. And I don't think I'm not worried about it as far as, are we going to get paid by the feds to be housing these illegal immigrants? Because that was the deal. I mean, when we did the whole thing a year ago, when we said, hey, we'll make sure that we work with ICE and we work with federal agents to get illegal aliens out of our country and our state. And so, the feds have been good working with us. I don't see it as they're trying to withhold something from us. It's probably getting held up in bureaucratic red tape is probably the reason. But that's one thing I'm going to be talking to the governor about, see where we're at on that. But yeah, to answer your question, I don't know the details on why it's getting held up, but I did see that article as well.
All right, Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith on the road again, not singing, just traveling. The Indiana Business Research Center at IU's Kelley School of Business says 39,000 people moved into Indiana last year, which outpaced neighboring states and the national average in population growth. Why do you think that is happening?
Well, it's many reasons. It's Hoosier values. We're faith and family focused. I mean, we love God. We love our country. We want to have the golden rule be the standard of our communities in general. I think you get the Hoosier hospitality. That's a real thing, and so people are hungry for that around the country. I mean, you see it if you travel to the East Coast or the West Coast, and people are not as nice. They're not as friendly. They're not as loving as Hoosiers, and so I think people around the country are looking for that love and the warmth that I think we provide in Indiana, which also the warning that I tell people is in Indiana is we need to protect our values. And this is what I see in Hamilton County. We aren't protecting our values. We are just growing, and we're growing very quickly, but nobody in leadership in Hamilton County seemingly knows what Hoosier values are anymore. And they just want to grow, and they'll sell out to the highest bidder. And so as a state, I'm saying, listen, we cannot lose what makes Indiana, Indiana. And so how do we protect our values? How do we protect, the good that Indiana is and say, hey, you're welcome to come here, people from Chicago or California or New York, but you assimilate into our values. Don't bring your left coast or right coast values into here. Like, you come here for a reason, and we want to keep it that way. And so, and then I think we've got a great tax structure. I mean, I think our business taxes are far better than states like Washington or California. I mean, they are just killing. Their socialist policies are killing business, literally killing business. Howard Schultz literally I was listening today to a report. He came out, the founder of Starbucks, and he is blasting Seattle and Washington for the terrible socialist policies that are running Starbucks out of Washington, the place where Starbucks was started. And this is Howard Schultz. He was a Democrat nominee, Democrat candidate for president a few years ago, and now we're seeing him just bemoan these Democrat policies that are destroying businesses. Well, in Indiana, we've got great Republican pro-business, just growth incentives when it comes to our tax policies, and I think that's why people are moving here. And whether you're a business owner, a family, an entrepreneur, you're seeing Indiana as the place to do business. Even the Chicago Bears know that, right? And that's why we're in talks with the Bears possibly coming here. So we'll see what happens with that one. But I think overall, Indiana is one of the best places in the country to raise a family, to work, to play, to live. I mean, it's an amazing state.
A busy day for you, Mr. Lieutenant Governor. Thank you always for sharing some of your time with us. Safe travels to you, and look forward to our next conversation.
Hey, thank you, Steve. Appreciate you. Have a good rest of your week.
All right. Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith on the Zoom room there. More coming in a bottom of hour appearance by the president of Ball State University. Geoffrey Mearns will join us. And before that, we've got some news to cover in just a moment right here on Delaware County Today from WMUN.
The playoffs are in full force, and you can trade every game in every series on Kalshi. New York is trading at 11% to win the finals. That means a $100 trade pays out $856 if they win it all. On Kalshi, you're trading against other people in a live market. That means no house and no odds makers. And as the odds move, you can buy in or out anytime throughout the postseason. For a limited time, download the Kalshi app, use code PROVE to get $10 when you trade 10. Kalshi, Kalshi. Trade on anything.
Business and economic development drives the 765. That's why WMUN News Radio created the website and the weekly radio show called 765businessjournal.com, Mondays from 9 to 9:30 a.m. Hosted by longtime Muncie resident and former broadcaster Lefay Pagese. Sponsored by IU Health, Town of Yorktown, MIPS, Ivy Tech Community College, Muncie, Minnetrista, YMCA of Muncie. If you have tips or questions about business and economic development, email WMUN@wolfboom.com. That's WMUN at wolfboom.com. You can also call and leave a voice message at 289-6397.
Too many families face a widening gap between what they can afford and what they need to thrive. More than half of families in the U.S. today are one paycheck away from financial crisis. At Good 360, we deliver hope when families need it most, providing essentials like clothing, hygiene items, and household goods. Put help within reach. Learn more at good360.org.
Want to hear more? Replays uploaded daily on WMUNmuncie.com. Now back to Delaware County Today with Steve Lindell, presented by Muncie Community School.
Tom Campbell, the voice of WMUN, who earlier took a shower. He texted me and told me so. Actually, it was an email. Whatever. Too much information? Let's go to our local news summary now. These stories airing on all of our stations in East Central Indiana. And now for you on our YouTube channel, Wolfboom Studio B and WMUN. He has sought the earliest possible surgery date, and he's announced who will be in charge while he's recovering.
State statute says for a short-term leave, which is what this will be, that the mayor can appoint somebody from the city council. I'm appointing Jeff Green, who is the city council president.
That's Muncie Mayor Dan Ridenour, who will miss 6 weeks beginning June 2 to have surgery to remove his prostate. You may remember back in October 2025 when the Fed struck a deal with Indiana leaders to house illegal immigrants at the Miami Correctional Facility. Jake McDaniel reports on where things stand now.
The Indiana Capitol Chronicle says the feds are 5 months behind on payments for housing immigration detainees. The state has already spent about $10 million to take care of everyone there. Jake McDaniel, Network, Indiana.
The Delaware County Special Needs Prom returning to the Horizon Convention Center this coming weekend. The evening includes a sweet experience, the Spotlight on Special Needs Prom, offering a unique vantage point from the prom while learning about the future vision for the event. Muncie hosts the MAC Track Championships this week.
Both men's and women's track programs across the league converging on Muncie and Ball State to run really fast.
Ball State Athletic Director Jeff Mitchell says head to the Briner Sports Complex to watch and support. Western Wayne schools are scrambling after Superintendent Kelly Plank was charged in a violent off-campus incident.
The board says it only learned about the allegations recently and put Plank on leave while it sorts things out. Court documents say the April 4th incident at the Elks Lodge in Newcastle escalated when Plank confronted a man and then knocked his mother off her feet, leaving her with fractures that required surgery. Prosecutors filed a level 5 felony battery charge this week. Ryan Hedrick, Network, Indiana.
Witnesses told Muncie police they saw 21-year-old Rylan Joshua Davis dragging 23-year-old Cheyenne Angelina Rains by her feet before reportedly shooting her and 2 men Sunday on Muncie's South Walnut Street. Star Press says the 2 other men involved were driving a pickup truck and stopped to inquire about the situation before Davis opened fire.
Jarrett Lewis, Network Indiana.
Turn away no longer. Recently welcomed a very special guest into the temporary foster home, a newborn baby. Director Tracy Walters rushed to get all the essentials ready on short notice and then passed them along when the child was placed with a family.
So we made sure that they had the car seat, the diapers, the formula, the bottles, everything they needed for the next few days.
The standard issue pistol for the Indiana State Police has been discontinued by the manufacturer. Sergeant Scott Keegan says they're moving to a new model that will aid in many improvements.
I think it's going to be safer for the public, safer for law enforcement, accuracy's going up.
With the decline of people buying them, there's a shortage at shelters.
Take a pause.
Newspapers and puppies usually go hand in hand or hand in paw. But at Fulton Animal Services in Georgia, there's a shortage of newspapers. They took in over 11,000 creatures last year, and they may see even more in 2026. So you can drop off old stuff and pick up a new friend to take home at the same place. Take a pause. Jill Nato, Fox News.
Without having to ask directly, we're certain that Muncie Animal Care and Services and others would gladly accept any help, too. More local every day on our free wolfboomnews.com. And, of course, the month of May means racing, and we have daily updates now from Mark Jaynes, the voice of the 500 on WMUN, May 24.
A picture-perfect day and a picture-perfect day one of practice from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. This is Mark Jaynes. Day one of practice in preparation for the 110th running of the Indianapolis 500 saw close to 2,000 laps turned by the entire field of 33. In the last 5 minutes of the session, Alex Palou turned the fastest lap at 225.937 miles per hour. Second fastest on the day was Marcus Armstrong, who had spent most of the day at P1 at 225.895. Connor Daly was third fastest at 225.839 miles per hour. Joseph Newgarden at 225.121, and Scott Dixon completes the top five at 225.087. Next couple of days could be very interesting with changes in the weather. Temperatures supposed to heat up by week's end. From the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, this is Mark Jaynes.
And WMUN carries that big spectacle of a race the last Sunday in May. Speaking of spectacle, he is the greatest spectacle in presidential collegedom. I just made up a new title for Geoffrey Mearns. He's next on WMUN.
You remember listening to him.
The kick by Jackson, it is up and good. 20-yard field goal. It's down to the 5-yard line. Touchdown in the end zone. They've taken the lead.
And taking in his love for this community.
Over the years, I've gotten to know the boys and girls who are athletes, and they go on and are very successful.
And today, we hope to help local student-athletes achieve that success. Hi, I'm Kirk Darling, Sports Director for Wolf Boom Radio. Myself and all of us at Wolf Boom are honored to carry on the legacy of Maury Manny's. This spring, we'll be awarding the Maury Manny's Scholarship to one male and one female high school student-athlete, both in Madison and Delaware counties.
Maybe one of these young people will go on and do great things.
It's been said many times, high school athletics are part of a complete education, and no one understood that more than Maury Manny's. The Maury Manny's Scholarship, another way Wolf Boom Radio is helping lift up East Central Indiana.
This year, WMUN is celebrating its 100th anniversary. Every day, we will bring you an important story that shaped our community's history. In 1968, a local garage band called the Morticians started a legendary residency at the Sugar Cube nightclub on Granville Avenue. Located right near the Marhofer meat packing plant, the club was the epicenter of the Muncie Sound. The band made $400 for the week, a small fortune that fueled the local rock scene. The Sugar Cube was the heart of Muncie's youth culture. It solidified Muncie's 1960s identity as a hub for regional music talent and garage rock innovation.
This is Wolf Boom's Steve Lindell. We congratulate WMUN on 100 years of service and celebrate the listeners who make Muncie home.
Want to hear more? Replays uploaded daily on WMUNmuncie.com. Now back to Delaware County Today with Steve Lindell, presented by Muncie Community Schools.
Staring into camera 4 in Wolf Boom Studio B, I'm Steve Lindell. Yes, I'm wearing cardinal red. Yes, he noticed immediately. Yes, my beautiful wife Nancy said, oh, he's going to love it. President Geoffrey Mearns is going to love the fact that you wore red for him today. And you had a comment right before we were on the air. President Mearns, did you want to share that with the public right now?
Yes, I did. I commented that I really liked that cardinal red. It looks very good on you. Red looks good on everyone, especially here in East Central Indiana.
You had more to say than that. Come on now.
No, that's okay. That was just a little private jab.
It was cute. I thought it was funny and very creative. President Geoffrey Mearns, let's start with volleyball. What a season it was.
It was a great season, as you say. We won the MEVA regular season championship again this year. We won the MEVA tournament. We as a result, got an automatic qualifying bid to the NCAA tournament. Competed in the Final Four. Jennifer and I actually were out in California this past weekend to watch our Cardinals compete. Came up a little bit short in the semifinal game, but it was an exciting season. You know, Patrick Rogers was one of 4 finalists to be the National Player of the Year. Coach Ian Dolo was the National Coach of the Year. So a great season, and just not only proud of them as outstanding athletes, but gotten a chance to know them a bit as well. And they're truly fine young men. They represent us so very, very well in every respect.
President Geoffrey Mearns is in our Zoom room in his palatial office on campus of Ball State University, unless that's AI that's fuzzy behind you there. If a recent graduate of your storied university named Aiden Foster, who's actually producing the program right now, if he was to give you, let's say, a sugar-coated donut or something, would that possibly get him forgiven of all those parking violations that he still has sitting on the system there at the Ball State?
That sounds a little like maybe an inappropriate quid pro quo. So the answer to that is no. But by the way, if he'd ever would like to give me a donut, sugar cinnamon is my favorite donut.
Okay, we will make a note. I think you said that last time too, and I didn't write it down. Aiden is writing it down right now. Okay, so the next item is a sportsy, like we were just talking about volleyball just a moment ago. It's not nearly as cool as cross country, but the MAC track championships are headed our way, yes?
Yes, they are. They start here tomorrow afternoon. So they'll be Thursday afternoon and then Friday, Saturday. It's the first time I think we've hosted the MAC championships, probably in at least 10 years. We have an excellent team. Coach Adrian Wheatley has really done a very good job in the 5 or 6 years that he's been with us. Very strong complement, range of outstanding student athletes. We won the MAC track championship, I think it was 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. I think it will be a challenge for us to actually win the outright title, but we're going to be competitive in a variety of sports. So please come out and join them. It seems like the weather's going to be beautiful tomorrow, probably pretty nice on Friday, a little warm on Saturday. It's good weather for a track meet anytime, Steve.
Meteorologist Geoffrey Mearns there on WMUN. Thank you for the update there. Hugh Jackman was on campus recently. I don't know if you were aware. Though no media interviews were given, I was very disappointed. What kind of access did you have? Take us behind the scenes. It's over now. Tell us what neat things that you got to do with the Wolverine.
Well, he came to town on Friday afternoon. We had a large dinner with invited guests on Friday evening, in which he was there with Sutton Foster. That was wonderful. We then had a breakfast on Saturday morning before the program. I got to spend time with him a little bit before that. And then on Saturday evening, just a very small dinner at Bracken House with Hugh Jackman, Sutton Foster, Bill Jenkins, and his wife, Sarah, and Michael Rafter. Michael is an outstanding faculty member. So, in fact, on Saturday evening, as we were waiting for dinner, Hugh and I were watching, along with Jennifer and Bill, we were watching the men's volleyball game. So we were cheering pretty loudly in Bracken House to cheer on our team that beat Pepperdine to advance to the Final Four. So he's a big Cardinal fan. And on Friday night, we gave both Hugh Jackman and Sutton Foster their own Ball State letter jackets. So they can represent Ball State wherever they go all around the world where they perform.
A little shocked with all of that activity that no media was involved and invited whatsoever. Wouldn't you want some coverage of such
Well, when he put some stuff out on social media, Stephen, no disrespect to your large audience, but he put out a couple of things on social media that got 3 or 4 million views. And then you might have seen last week, he's got a new movie out. So he was making the
shameless plug. Shameless plug. Go ahead.
No, it's a great movie. I understand. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, it's great.
But he was on the Today Show. He was on The View. He was on and they ran B-roll of his commencement speech and so Ball State. So again, no disrespect, Steve, but we got an awful lot of publicity because he's got a national or international presence.
There is an alumni named Cuban from a different university and spelled differently than ours, but there is a teacher in our midst that received an award recently. Talk about, was it Adam Cuban?
Yeah, Adam Cuban, and he's a journalism professor in our College of Communication, Information, and Media. He won the Scripps Howard Journalism Award as the Teacher of the Year in the United States, the Journalism Teacher of the Year. He is an outstanding teacher. He's known for creative, innovative approaches to teaching our students about journalism. It's actually the second time in just the last 5 or 6 years that we've won that award. Jen Palalonis won it a few years ago. So it's a testament to the strength of our journalism programs here at Ball State. And Adam does a wonderful job. If you've ever met him, maybe you might want to have him on your program because he's a dynamic, not only an outstanding instructor, but he's a dynamic person. So real asset to the university, real asset to the community, training the next generation of outstanding journalists just like you.
I would appreciate being connected. Maybe Stephanie, your
Stephanie can connect you.
Assistant in the big front office there. Can
By
help
the
me.
way, also
Yeah,
a little
sure.
connection to athletics. He also coaches high school tennis at Yorktown High School, my understanding.
Look at that. All right.
So
very
he's
good.
a real, he's a good community member, a good neighbor and friend too.
WMUN word of the day. We resumed that a
it's
few
back.
days. We resumed it a few days ago. Nancy heard you complaining the last time you were on, President Mearns.
That wasn't a complaint. That was a sigh of relief.
It was taken as a complaint. So she found at a garage sale in our neighborhood a partly used for this year, 2026, one that somebody didn't want. So the word of the
frugal.
day.
She's frugal. She really splurges on you, huh?
She was splurging on you. It's
okay.
Pigeon-livered. The word of the day is pigeon-livered. So before the end of this interview, I would like for you to use that in one of your answers. Now, with your MCS hat on, we were talking about Dr. Cuban. Let's talk about a Muncie Central High School teacher with some honors as well.
Yeah, Catherine Hughes was named the Excellence in Teaching by the Ball Brothers Foundation. She's a social studies teacher at Muncie Central. Again, like Adam, she's creative and innovative. Her lessons and team-based projects. She's an outstanding teacher. She's representative of the many outstanding teachers and staff that we have throughout the Muncie Community Schools. And I'm grateful to the Ball Brothers Foundation, Judd Fisher and his team and his board, who are investing in education at all levels in our community. They understand the importance of investing in children and young people. And by the way, as you may know, this week, the Ball Brothers Foundation is celebrating 100 years of doing extraordinary work in our community, and grateful to them, grateful to the legacy of the Ball family.
Judd Fisher was a guest in the Studio B here earlier this week, talking more about that. I didn't see you in the studio yet. Judd comes in and he doesn't need a donut bribe. How does that work?
Well, he's a very good man. He's a generous person.
The 100th homecoming is on the way. What sort of special plans will the president of a newly extended by contract Geoffrey Mearns be planning for the Cardinals?
Well, as you know, Steve, Jennifer and I always enjoy homecoming. She enjoys riding in the car and tossing candy and seeing all the children and the families along the route. And I enjoy walking and getting up close to some of those families. So we're looking forward to the parade. I think we're going to see more university-related floats in addition to all the community floats. We'll be playing Sacramento State in football that afternoon on homecoming, our first game against the newest football member of the Mid-American Conference. And haven't had a chance to speak directly to Coach U, but I hear he feels pretty good about the roster that he's developed and the development that his team has made over the spring. So it's going to be a great weekend. And actually, wherever I go all around the country, when I see alum graduates, I remind them it's our 100th homecoming and encourage them to come back to campus.
Absolutely. We will have some sort of a cornhole throwdown. I don't know it'll be any different than any of the other ones that I have won plenty of times before in the battle between the president and...
Fake news alert. Fake news alert.
Jeez. There is an event coming up May 15 to 17 called Art in Bloom. Touch on that for a moment, if you would.
This is a really creative festival and program that we have every year. It will be this coming Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We engage several local florists to create a floral design that replicates a work of art in the museum. And I must say, if you haven't seen what they're able to do, you should come out and take a look, because they do such extraordinary creative work. It's free and open to the public. The preview party is Friday 5 to 7, and then Saturday 1 through 5, Sunday 1 through 5. The museum is open. We're very grateful to David Owsley, the principal benefactor of the museum. As part of his many very generous gifts to the university, we never charge admission to the museum. It's always free and open to the public. You don't need to be a member, including for this very special program. So come on out and take a look.
President Geoffrey Mearns still hasn't used Pigeon Livered. He's got one more chance here. The We Fly Fest is also planned on campus.
Yes, so the We Fly Fest, this is the second year we've done it, and it begins at 4 o'clock on Saturday, June. Help me with the date.
I got June. That's all I have. Sorry.
Yeah, it's the first Saturday in June.
Okay.
First Saturday in June. And so it's an opportunity for us to invite people from all across the community, all across the folks who are listening. Please come to campus. There'll be music performances. There will be food. There'll be games. There'll be opportunities to tour various buildings and learn more about the activities and programs on our campus. It's another way in which we're trying to continue to build bridges between the campus and the community. And it will be a robust calendar. There'll be no pigeon-livered folks participating in the programs.
All right, do you know the specific definition of pigeon-livered, or you do want a little assist on that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Timid, cowardly. Cowardly.
Yeah, no pigeon-livered faculty and staff coming to the We Fly Fest.
What I assumed you were going to do, if you didn't know the definition of that one, was you're going to tie it into Charlie Cardinal, just because of the pigeon part, just for fun. But no.
No, he's not. Charlie Cardinal is not timid.
No, you got that right.
What does David Letterman say? The fiercest robin-sized bird in the forest or something?
Something like that. I love Dave. I love you too. President Mearns, always a pleasure, sir. Thank you.
Great to be with you, Steve. Chirp, chirp.
That is Geoffrey Mearns, the president of Ball State University, one of our great guests we have for you. We're talking about all things Cardinal in that segment, with more to come in a moment on WMUN.
This is Inside Indiana Business Radio. I'm Gary Dick. Agriculture giant Corteva will keep its headquarters in Indianapolis following the upcoming separation of the seed and crop protection parts of its business. In October, Corteva's board unanimously okayed a plan to separate the company into two independent publicly traded businesses. The crop protection business will retain the Corteva name, while the seed business will operate as Vylor, Inc. About 2,000 of Corteva's 22,000-plus employees are based in Indiana. Governor Mike Braun says Corteva chose Indiana over sites in multiple states. Sweetwater's newest recording studio doesn't sit inside its sprawling Fort Wayne campus. It rolls down the highway. Sweetwater and Airstream on Tuesday unveiled what the companies call the first fully immersive Dolby Atmos mobile recording studio, designed to bring professional-grade recording experiences directly to communities across the country. You're listening to Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Do you own an import-export business? If so, your company could save time and money with foreign trade zones. FTZs are designated sites across the United States where you can reduce, defer, and even eliminate import duties, helping you stay competitive in the global marketplace. And if you're in central Indiana, InZone will even cover the cost of a feasibility study to assess your potential savings, because smart companies get in the zone. Learn more at inzone.org.
Northeast Indiana is essential to elevating Indiana's future. Explore how IBJ Media, Inside Indiana Business, and the state of Indiana are bringing a bold vision for regional growth at Innovate Northeast Indiana. Presented by CareSource, Indiana University, and Old National Bank. Join Governor Mike Braun and business and community leaders for a candid discussion on growth, workforce development, and innovation. We'll be at the Clyde Theater Friday, May 15th. RSVP now at ibj.com/innovate.
Want to hear more? Replays uploaded daily on WMUNmuncie.com. Now back to Delaware County Today with Steve Lindell, presented by Muncie Community Schools.
Radio is the original social media, but we also have the internet, and you're looking on the YouTube page of our wolfboomnews.com. That is another resource to look at and follow every single day. And as we have mentioned plenty of times, make sure you are one of the many that grab our YouTube page. It is still very new. Great job behind the scenes by our Gary Joseph, organizing it, making it look all fancy-dancy, and I really appreciate that work. Plus, the content that we give you on it is hopefully something that you need and or want. We work on that every single day. Now, let's get a snapshot of your day. Today,
it's May 13th, and this is your Fox Daily Snapshot. Today is National Frog Jumping Day, which dates back to an 1865 story by author Mark Twain about two friends in Calaveras County, California, who placed a wager on which of their pet frogs could jump higher. The tale would eventually be known as the notorious jumping frog of Calaveras County. The current frog jumping record is held by Rosie the Riveter, who jumped 21 feet 5 3/4 inches in 1986. Also on this date, in 2019, actress Felicity Huffman pled guilty for taking part in the National College Entrance Exam scandal, which would come to be known later as Operation Varsity Blues. Huffman admitted to honest services fraud after it was discovered that she and many other families paid large sums of money to ensure their children attend some of the nation's most elite colleges and universities. She would eventually be sentenced to 14 days in jail and 1 year of supervised release. I'm Tushar Saxena, and that's your Fox Daily Snapshot.
On WMUN News Talk, Sports Talk, Race Talk 2, Miller Lite Carb Day is coming up Friday, May 22. That is going to be a big one. That is just one of the many days and fun things that are happening at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. You will hear the race right here on WMUN inside our Studio B. In the back of the room, you see the green room, or is it the orange room? The replay of a previous program is flying up on that big screen. No, it's not because I'm vain. It's because I need technology to be flying around the room at all times. We are very proud of this workspace and the workspace we have across the parking lot in the main building. Wolf Boom Radio, 6 formats, 1 mission. We use our voice to build and connect our community. I'm Steve Lindell. This is Delaware County Today, live from 8 to 9 a.m., Monday to Friday. Replays on demand, WMUNmuncie.com. That's the audio-only version. And the video is on the YouTube page, Wolf Boom Studio B. Next item here, this might be interesting to a lot of our listeners, how to prolong the results of a diet.
This is House Call for Health. 8,500 steps a day could help prevent regaining weight following a period of dieting. Researchers looked at data from nearly 4,000 people who took part in multiple trials focused on weight loss and maintenance. People who increased their steps to that magic 8,500 steps a day during their weight loss phase and kept up the steps afterwards had a higher success rate of keeping the weight off in the long term. These participants lost around 9 pounds on average over an 8-month period and maintained most of that weight loss in the next 10 months. On the other hand, the control groups did not receive any treatment and were dieting on their own, averaging around 7,200 steps a day. They did not drop any pounds. The findings are scheduled to be presented at the European Congress on Obesity in Istanbul this week, and they appear in the International Journal of Environmental Research and Public Health. For more health news, go to foxnewshealth.com. House Call for Health. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News.
WMUN 92.5 FM and all the rest. And internationally, listeners everywhere. Well, not everywhere, but a lot of places. Let me see. I've seen Spartansburg, South Carolina, Atlanta, Chicago. Hello. Thanks for the note yesterday. New Jersey, Mansfield, Ohio, plus Cambridge, same state, Louisville, Kentucky, Rancho C., and Santa Rosa, California, Portland, Oregon. Yes, Sister Sherry, I did see you very early this morning. And Minnesota, there's Mama and Roger getting ready for another great day in what we call God's country, in the home of Minnesota Nice. Budget talks are underway for the Pentagon's fiscal year 2027.
securing America.
During separate hearings before House and Senate Appropriations Subcommittees Tuesday, War Secretary Pete Hegseth and Joint Chiefs Chairman General Dan Kane testified about the Pentagon's proposed $1.5 trillion budget for 2027. But one question superseded the discussion. As Delaware Democratic Senator Chris Coons put it,
what's the cost of the war we're in Iran?
Acting Pentagon Comptroller Jules Hurst previously testified that number as $25 billion last month. Now?
And so now we think it's closer to 29. That's because of updated repair and replacement of equipment costs and also just general operational costs to keep people in theater.
Some senators and representatives asked for more specific breakdowns. Secretary Hegseth promised the Pentagon will keep Congress apprised of costs as Operation Epic Fury continues.
When it's relevant and required, we will share it.
Kevin Uretsky, Fox News.
Hey, around here, there is a fundraising golf event. We are not able to participate this year, but we are a sponsor and supporter of the Hillcroft Services Golf Outing. That is a Thursday and Friday event at the Players Club in Yorktown. Looking at the weather for that, Thursday, sunny, 66, very comfortable and nice. And the Friday forecast is for more clouds than sun, 71, very nice. The heat is on, as you may have heard WMUN meteorologist Paul Poteet earlier this hour talk about some bigger numbers that are headed our way. The high Sunday, for instance, will be 88 around here. And on Monday, Muncie might hit 91 degrees. Woof-da mama. All right, we'll just make sure that air conditioner is set to go. By the way, I think we should probably, speaking of that, we should probably talk to some air conditioning friends, maybe on the program here, and get some helpful tips to make sure that your system doesn't, blow up when you first click it on. That might be a really good idea. I'm thinking on the radio here. It's 8:51, 9 until 9 o'clock. Looking forward to always hearing our good friend, Dr. Joe Mashevitz, who is the host with the most of the Monday program. That's All Kinds of People here on WMUN. Next item this morning, save thousands of dollars in just a few months.
Saving you money, I'm you money. Hillary Barsky. Saving a lot of dough might seem like a tough thing to accomplish, but according to GoBankingRates.com, if you follow some steps, you could save up to $10,000 in 3 months. In order to do so, you need to set a goal and a budget. It's also a good idea to find the right savings account to stash your cash and pay down your debt. You can either try the snowball debt method, which focuses on paying off your smallest debts first, or the avalanche method, which focuses on paying off your debts in order of the highest interest rate to the lowest. Next, evaluate and limit spending and determine where you can shave unnecessary expenses. Also, try increasing income streams by picking up odd jobs or side hustle. And it may be time to reevaluate some of your lifestyle choices, even if that means temporarily sacrificing your creature comforts. If you try combining some aspects of your financial situation, you might be surprised how quickly you can increase your savings. Saving you money, Hillary Barsky, Fox News.
On WMUN, you know I, Steve Lindell, am a dog lover. How about some equal time for cats now from the 2021 archives?
The Dean's List with Janice Dean.
A missing cat who finally came home after 6 years makes today's Dean's List. Minnie Max climbed through a window screen from his home in Massachusetts in August of 2015. After a vet checked his microchip, Margaret and her beloved Max were finally reunited. Margaret says for years she searched everywhere for her cat and even turned a Facebook page into a nonprofit humane organization to help care for homeless cats and support their caregivers. Margaret says her desperation led to a wonderful journey helping others. Dozens of local cats were helped while Minnie Max remained lost, which Margaret says is such a silver lining. Recently, she received a call from a vet 10 miles away from where she lives, and Margaret and Max were finally reunited. Ultimately, Margaret says Minnie Max's disappearance brought together a community of cat lovers and rescuers and saved countless lives of other cats. And that is a wonderful thing. Janice Dean, Fox News.
Thank you, Janice. Always nice to hear your kind tones here on WMUN. This is Delaware County Today. Daily program 8 to 9 a.m. in Muncie, Indiana in the Eastern Time Zone. It's on demand at WMUNmuncie.com. The YouTube channel is Wolf Boom Studio B. Please consider being a subscriber. Follow that for updates we would love to share with you in a whole lot of different ways. I'm Steve Lindell, the host of the program. Aiden Foster producing today in the Axia Command Center. Back again tomorrow morning and always right here on WMUN.